Hello,
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 everybody.
hello. How are you?
Good. Big welcome from Den Bosch, Netherlands, Europe.
Okay, yes,
Very
you're
good.
right. Today I choose to you know take my audience to Netherlands, and we want to check what is going on in that part of Europe. So this is my friend Nikola, and he will be joining us from Den Bosch. I wanna hear something first about your city. To be honest, I read yesterday when I was preparing. I read something about Den Bosch, and I found about carnivals, and I thought, I should put this town on my bucket list because I
Okay.
really love it. So
Yeah.
tell me a few things about your home, current home.
Actually, Den Bosch is not that really famous city in Netherlands, but it's quite nice. It's really beautiful, green, quiet. It's around 150,000 inhabitants, but really a lot of green areas, a lot of lakes within city. But like I said, it's really quiet. Let's say it's best suited for elderly people or people with families. Also, it's not university town, so it's not really overcrowded with a young population. And that is sort of give him no specific vibe, but it's really peaceful. It's really, you can enjoy it here very much, and I do. And it's it's a relatively small town in the province of North Brabant, and it's, let's say, around 70 kilometers east from Amsterdam, southeast toward German border. So it occupies, let's say, central position in Holland. So it's really connected really well to rest of Holland, and also few Europe capitals like Brussels in Belgium, or let's say Köln, Frankfurt in Germany.
In Germany.
Yes.
Okay, that sounds like a good position. But what is better to say, Netherlands or Holland?
That depends. Now, Netherlands is official name, and also government introduced measures to rebrand state, actually, because for a number of years it was known as a Holland, but basically we have two provinces, North and South Holland, which predominantly have a lot of things that we are related to usually with the Holland, and that's cheese, that's the windmills, and that's the canals, like in Amsterdam or Den Haag. But now they decided to rebrand it. I don't know if they're going to succeed with that, because I think a lot of people still, even Dutch people, still refer sometimes when speaking with foreign people as Holland.
Yes.
Personally, I don't have a mind, and people here are really open, and they don't give a care. Actually, you can call whatever you want.
Oh, that's good to know. That's good to know, because in my language we say Holland, Hollandia.
Yeah.
So yes. I don't want to. I want to know if it's something that would assault some other person.
No,
I don't want to do that.
The Dutch people don't see this as an insult. Of course, they call it Netherlands, in English, Netherlands. But if, like I told you, if someone speaks about him as a Holland or Hollandese or Dutch people, they don't mind. Okay. But it is wrong. It is wrong. Actually, Holland is a province in Netherlands.
Okay.
Most famous. Yeah.
Okay, now I know. Yeah. Okay, perfect. We are currently in Netherlands because of this Corona situation. Yeah. So I want to know, how did it start for you, or in your Den Bosch city? So that's because I want to know, like, when did it start? How did it start? When did you first hear the news, like pandemic, and actually realizing what is going on around you?
Actually, we was aware, of course, and probably everybody else, what happens in Wuhan, China. And I think that was January or February.
Yes, January.
We want to make jokes. Oh, I visit Wuhan and so on, but we wasn't serious about it, really. And then I think late March, if I can remember correctly, was that really starts pandemic issues. And then specific about my place, Den Bosch and the province of North Brabant, because of the heritage, history heritage. It's a predominantly Catholic province, ruled by Spanish Empire for the few centuries. They have a strong tradition of carnivals, which involve 1 week of festivities with a lot of people crowded in a small spaces, like squares, streets, or bars, and whatsoever. And also that was coincidence also that people just went back from skiing season. Much people like to travel, and they also go very often to skiing. So
the city was pretty busy. City was pretty busy.
Yeah, pretty busy. Usually the carnival is, let's say, the pinnacle of year. It's really local.
Do you have a lot of tourists? Do you have a lot of tourists in that season?
Possibly, I don't know, but it's, let's say, local thing for the local patriots. It's sort of the biggest festivities in a year, and that it was elderly people, young people, small children, families, everybody, and it's really crazy period of 1 week. A lot of people tend to take vacation in that period, and it's really crowded, really happy and colorful. Really interesting, yeah. And
I cannot imagine carnival and pandemic together, you know, the atmosphere of one and another. Can you?
And that's what epidemiologists think and concluded, that this was, let's say, trigger for really huge spread of coronavirus, because this province was affected the most in the Netherlands, really the most. But okay, numbers now are correct. We are, today is 10th of May, and I think 29 days in a row we have not increasing in the number of new affected.
Good.
But sad
Glad to hear.
news is that, or fact is that, we have 5,000 casualties in complete Holland because of corona infection, and that's really sad.
Yes, very much. And can you go back a little bit and tell me how did you hear about corona, and how did you act when you first realized that pandemic is actually the real thing and it's actually in your backyard?
Like I told you earlier, we heard it on news what happens in Wuhan, but no one really take it that seriously. And so let's say I spent a lot of time at work, and we even make jokes around it. But one day, when government starts to negotiate and introducing first measures to defend corona situation, within company they told us to leave for 1 week, because they suspicious on 2 let's say corona cases.
In your company, in your workplace?
Yeah, in my workplace, yes, because 2 people had really symptoms of corona, like high temperatures, problem with breathing, and so on.
Cough. Okay.
And at that moment, suddenly, situation changed, because everybody, you can see in their eyes, it was really
real
fear start to occur. Yeah, everybody was sort of feel like a little bit of panic, and also we immediately start to avoid each other.
Yes, practicing distancing. Okay.
Yes.
So 2K.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe it was just precaution measure. I don't know. Could be that those two people weren't sick or whatever, but managers of the company are responsible here, so they didn't want to take any risks, and they sent us home.
Okay, but can I ask you, just did you have at least few days in a row, fearing that maybe you are one of them, maybe you also caught up something, and sometimes you start imagining like, oh, maybe I'm having a temperature, let me check. I have a kid, and I don't want to say constantly, but I get easily into that state, like, oh, let me check, maybe it's this.
Yeah.
Look at this is the symptom, this is the sign. Did you have that? Did you feel that way?
No, me personally, actually, I had a sort of opinion that this is, although it's a new virus, it's a sort of seasonal epidemic sort of influence. And at that moment, we all had news that only elderly people or really sick people with bad immunity tend to get sick. So I thought, okay, maybe if I get infected, I will, because I'm healthy, I will get immunity. For me, it's fine. So me personally, I didn't think, but when it starts really at one point rapidly, or let's say exponentially, to gain new cases of corona infected people, and also we more and more we saw pictures from Italy or Spain. Then, yeah, a little bit it starts to get weird. I didn't panic. And then I start to think reasonable. Okay, what's the solution now? Okay, anyway, I think in general we have to provide hygienic precautions in normal day life without corona anyway. We need to wash hands anyway, so that's my, let's say, agenda. And also keeping distance. Maybe it should be a norm from now on.
But in Europe, come on, be honest. In Europe, we love to shake hands.
Yes.
That's the way how we say hi. Canadians, I'm here in Canada, and Canadians are great, huge huggers. So every time we meet, they're like, hey, hi, how are you, Natasha? But in Europe, we tend to shake hands.
Yes. Yeah.
So now with that hand wash, I was, I would, but I won't,
Yeah.
It is tricky, you need time to adjust. It's not easy. You cannot just flip.
It is tricky, but my biggest fear, I would say it's not big fear, but at that situation, when you got infected, you're sort of signed in a social group. Like, because I think it's new, people are not familiar with the disease. And if you get infected, it's sort of like you have HIV or something.
Yes, it's stigma. It's stigma.
So that was my fear, actually. More social. I didn't want to be stigmatized in my company or in my.
Yes, no one wants that. No one wants that.
But physically, I didn't really bother too much.
Okay.
I was of opinion that I will take whatever is necessary, and I'm healthy. But in the end, that's my also approach to life. If it has to be, it will be. Even.
You sound like. You sound like many men I know.
Yeah, it could be.
Yes. Okay, we have to man up in this. I don't know. Okay, let's go further. So you start actually working from home since mid-March. Am I right?
I don't know exactly. Yes, but from mid-March. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So you said no family, you are single, you're mostly devoted to your profession. So I want to talk about that because it's very interesting to hear what it's like to be project lead, because you're an engineer in yacht industry.
Yeah.
So you're actually leading some project for your company, a part of your company. So I want to know, can you walk me through what it's like now to like be in contact with your colleagues to work on a project which is pretty visual, So can you walk me through, like, what is your day look like?
During Corona
yes,
crisis.
Now when you're working from home.
Yeah. I'm in engineering, so basically my end product is producing technical drawings for production to be made. So it's a creative process, and also it's a multidisciplinary process. It's a lot of different disciplines are involved when solving some technical issue. So we work as a team, and of course we communicate on daily basis a lot of different aspects of our end product, and ships are one of the complex product mankind is built, because it involves a lot of items. So communication is one essential tool in our work. And also in engineering, and a lot of engineers tend to like more sketches and drawings than spoken words and explanations, because so when you are in company, when you are in the office, you can share a sketch, you can really share important information within few seconds. And that I found sort of a little bit difficulty over Skype and other way of communication, phone.
Yes, you cannot just speak in, or come to somebody's table and
It's really, if you, let's say, if a normal one small information, if you normally you will share it in, let's say, 30 seconds. Over Skype you need maybe a couple of minutes. Which at this moment not sound too much, but when you calculate it in total, it's a lot of wasted time. And we do, it's really teamwork and team effort to find best or optimal solution. So it is sort of hard. And then the end design has to be, I will call it, materialized in a drawings, which is done in a sort of CAD packages, information packages by a draftsman. And those softwares also required facilities and computers and graphical cards and screens and whatsoever. So for draftsmen was a challenge working remotely from their laptops, because usually they use multiple screens. Computers in company are much higher in speed and so on. So using remotely from the small laptop from home, it's not the same. For them it's not the same.
The same.
They for sure are not wasn't so efficient. And on the third side of the things, once we made a design and all the drawings or the technical documentation, it actually has to be materialized in the steel or aluminum or interior or whatever on the production side. And you can't do that from home.
Yes.
So
that part of the industry has stopped, or
or not? No, not yet. Yeah, maybe I believe that higher management will introduce force majeure to our clients, because possibly there will be some delays, but we cannot afford it at this moment. And at the beginning, no one knows how this will,
how long will it take? Yes. How long
will we take it? Yeah. So we took a step by step, and production introduced, let's say, several shifts, working shifts instead of one. But we did have two, let's say, incidents on because we have 14 projects, and on one of our projects it was suspicious that it was one of people working there has coronavirus, so they pull away all people and then make complete disinfection of complete
area,
yeah,
department.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So that's a lot for an industry, act industry, you know, to actually to remove the whole department of people. It's you know, every day you are actually losing money, and tomorrow clients and everything.
Yeah.
Okay, but
but I think because it's a global thing, I think our clients will have understanding for our situation. I don't think we don't have a problem, let's say like that. Company management did a good job in a corona crisis.
Perfect. So they adjusted.
But I do know people in Holland, and a couple of my friends that are working in the hospitality industry, and some of them had to lock down their either it's restaurant or pub or music club or something like that.
So
they couldn't.
Do you know anybody personally who has corona and who is, you know, either in recovery or, you know, do you know somebody?
No. Really?
No.
Not even a single case. No.
Okay, because it's a completely different story when you know, and when you are in that, when you're experiencing loss and when you're in a grieving process, whereas others are like you and me, we're just adjusting and waiting and you know, trying to anticipate and do our best. It's completely different climate. It's completely different world and life experience of this. What I want to know about your work, because I got interested, you know, once you start talking about drafts and how you're making, like, I love that process. I love it. It sounds so creative to me, you know. I can imagine that workflow. So what I want to know, is there any advantages right now when you're working from home? Like, is there anything you can say, oh, this is actually better than my normal, so-called normal work day?
Okay. For me, I will speak only personally and my impressions about it.
Please, that's what I want.
So I'm in a position of sort of project manager. So managing things involves a lot of communication with different people. But also part of my job is, let's say, solistic, working only with myself, reading some rules or some contracts or planning something or whatever. And then I found out that for me it's advantage to working from home, because at home I have a peace. If, of course, if you're fortunate enough to have your separate room or whatever. Because I work in a relatively large office of, let's say, 25 people. So it's not that quiet, usually. And sometimes you tend to lose a focus because of noise.
A lot of distractions.
Also, my company is situated in true industrial zone. So if I had a, let's say, Skype meeting or WhatsApp meeting, whatever, at home, I just go to my garden. This is my garden, actually. It's, as you can see, it's really...
It's so beautiful.
Yeah, it's
so
really beautiful and inspiring and relaxing. So I do my work from the garden, you know. And
you're lucky.
Which is something I cannot do at a company, like I said, because it's an industrial zone.
Yes, so it's pretty much, probably it's noisy.
Yeah.
It's noisy.
That's too. Yeah. And last thing that is really advantage, we now notice how, because we cancel all non-important meetings, and that's really good, because now when things get back to normal, we will consider if those meetings are really necessary, because it's time consuming.
Yes, and now you can deliver the job without them.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I remember one thing also, which is fine. Holland, because it has really most dense. It's the most densely populated country in Europe. We have a lot of problem with traffic jams, especially in the morning when we go to work. But now during Corona crisis, I had to visit a company and building site, so I have to be physically there. And I went a couple of times. It was really, really no any traffic jams. Basically, it was really funny. So I think in general, a lot of companies will start to think, when things get back to normal, to introduce working from home as a sort of standard. And also you don't lose time commuting to your work. I need at least half an hour to my work, so that's 1 hour a day. So you can work one hour, or you can have spare time for you.
yes,
That's also advantage.
for many cities. For many cities, an hour is actually nothing, you know.
Yeah.
But I do understand. Now when I'm living in smaller city, I do understand how, you know, valuable, like every minute is valuable. It's valuable to be, you know, if you can walk or spend time, I don't know, walking with my kid it's so valuable. You know, back then when I was losing time in a traffic, I wasn't aware of that, but now I do understand that. I understand you. It's very interesting, you know. So you also shift. I spoke with some other people. They also noticed a lot of change in their approach to like everyday routine, you know. So when you now say normal, like when we get back to normal, how do you define that normal?
Yeah. Normal,
is it still normal or something else?
Yeah, we're working. No, normal is working from home, and for instance, like in Holland, you have 20 million of tourists in Amsterdam every year. Because at this moment there is no tourists in Amsterdam, and it's a touristic city.
Yes.
So it was also, let's say, not realistic. Surrealistic picture to visit Amsterdam without really non-single tourist. That's really amazing.
Especially,
yeah, we had a really nice weather last month or so. Really spring, sunny.
And
normal here is a lot of tourists in Amsterdam, a lot of traffic jams. You're working from home. That's a normal. Unfortunately.
Yes, yes. I could say that it also for my city, for Victoria. Usually it's full of tourists. It's full of tourists, and then this is the peak of season. You know, May is actually the most beautiful month, and I know in these days we would be actually preparing for parade because Victoria Day is soon. I think next week it's coming. So, but now it's no pipers. No plans, like nobody's talking, it's like everybody are just hoping for reopening. Are you in that mode? Are you slowly reopening your province? Is there any news?
Yeah, complete country is reopened. Actually, I started to work last week.
Okay.
But not entire company. Still, whoever can do from home, he'll work from home. And I think schools are starting from 11th of May.
Okay.
But for instance, we will still keep 1.5 meter distancing in public space, and all big events will be cancelled as government introduced at least by the end of this year. They want to have a vaccine
Before allowing
yeah, big
social
events
gatherings.
like festivals and parades or whatsoever. So it might take even more than 1 year.
More than 1 year.
Yeah.
Okay, so 2020 will be the year we will remember, wherever
sure,
we are,
sure.
you know,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah. All big events are canceled. Yeah.
And how did it affect your private plans, you know? Probably because it's a summer season. Probably you wanted to, you plan to go somewhere. I know that you are riding a motorcycle, so maybe,
yes.
did you
Maybe you can see it.
plan?
Maybe you can see it over here.
Yeah, that's really your
It's my bike.
backyard. This is your, this is, oh, I thought you're just saying, but oh
No.
God.
This is my backyard. This is my backyard. Yeah, I have planned but it's in September. I hope things will be, let's say, in that stage of normal that I could travel freely within Europe. That's my intention, to go somewhere. I don't know where yet, but I will see if that will be forbidden. Yeah, then I will replan. But I did miss opportunity to go for Easter at my home in Croatia because of Corona.
Yes.
And that was planned to visit family and friends and so on, but I couldn't make it.
Okay. Is there anything, you know, because I don't want to take a lot of your time, and it sounds like it's raining there. Am I right?
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, it is.
It is.
Yeah. Which is normal for Holland. It's a rainy country. Although we did have more than a month of really good weather, sunny and perfect spring. Everything is green and flowers all over the place. Really beautiful, amazing.
Okay, what are you going? Is there anything you do, or how do you relax yourself in this situation? You can't see your friends, your family is somewhere else, your workplace is, you're going there, but a lot of people are on and off. So how are you spending time? What are you doing? How are you entertaining yourself? Or do you do anything for relaxation?
Yeah, reading, book, and also music is big part of my life. I don't know if you mentioned before, but I'm playing, and now it's a good time for practicing, for rehearsing things that you normally don't have time to do. So I do that.
Oh, okay. Because I know you from some other story before you came to Netherlands. Don't tell me you're still playing drums.
Yes, I still play drums because
Come on.
It is my passion.
And do you have a backyard for that also?
My love. So yeah.
Come on.
No, I don't. But I did find some garage now. I rent a garage for that. But before that, my Holland friends here, also musicians, they provided me their garage for practicing. That was really nice. It was really nice gesture from them to offer me their space. And I think it wasn't that convenient for them. So for me, it was really a blessing. And they're really good friends. Yeah.
Sounds like a movie to me.
Yeah, but
sounds
of
like
course
a
I didn't
movie.
want to disturb them because it's in a problem in Holland. It's really populated, and it's sort of part of culture to live with other people and to be tolerant about it. So they tolerated me and also their neighbors, but playing drums every day, I don't feel right. So I find a really good spot in the industrial part of town and rented for decent price. And yeah, I'm thinking to also build a small recording studio there.
Oh,
because
you have.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear this. I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad to Nikola. I'm so glad you joined me. I'm so glad that I had opportunity to hear something about Netherlands. This is a good story. I have to admit, this is a good story. You're adjusting well. People around you are all safe and healthy. That's a really, because once you hear news, you know, every time I try to check news, I don't have TV, but you know, I'm reading a lot. It's scary. It's scary. There are a lot of losses and a lot of fear. So I'm glad that you're well and that you are like pretty much holding your ground. I'm so glad, and I'm so glad and thankful that you accepted my invitation to join me. Wish you all the best. Wish you good season. Wish you all the best, and take care and say hi to your family.
Yeah.
See you.
See you sometimes in Europe.
We will meet. We will.
Okay.
Maybe Netherlands. Maybe Netherlands.
Yeah,
now I want to come. Now I want to come.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You too.
Thank you, my friend.
Take care.
Bye.
Okay. Bye.